Hello and welcome to The One Show with Aurea Duba.
And Alex Jones. Now, tonight we are joined by a man who, according to his wife, isn't very good at housework, but is a good politician.
Well, it's up to you to decide whether she's right about the politics. But tonight we can find out how handy he is around the house and a whole lot more as we welcome the leader of the Labour Party, Jeremy Corbyn. Good evening, Jeremy. Nice to have you with us. So
it's nice to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Absolute pleasure.
Pleasure. Well, let's get it out to the way. BBC impartiality and all of that, we have to ask, because Theresa May put it, boys and girls' jobs. Do you have boys and girls' jobs in your own house? No. Who trims that hedge outside the house that we see a lot on the television? Do you do that? You need to do it a bit more often.
No, you've got to let the plants grow a bit, then you prune them back in.
Well, yes, but yeah, it looks tidy sometimes.
But let me tell you
sometimes a bit overgrown.
Do you know what was there before?
No.
No, we don't. Pray tell.
A lump of concrete. That was an entrance to a garage, and that was a lump of concrete. Somebody must have been parking big cars there, because the concrete was about that thick.
You must have been watching
the devil's own job
show,
to break up
Jeremy.
that concrete and turn it into a garden.
Well, you've done a nice job.
If only you were on last night's show, Jeremy. We were talking about green in Great Britain. You've already been there and done that.
Done it.
I've degraded and greened a bit of Britain.
If you can make sense of that, thanks for being on the show.
That's a popular parlance. Are you not aware of it?
Of course, of course. Let's talk election, shall we? Briefly, if we have to. But 9 days away, Jeremy, you won't need reminding of this. Let me ask you, does the prospect of Theresa May calling you up, conceding defeat and offering you the keys of number 10 fill you with fear or unbridled joy?
Hope of what we can do, and hope of the way we can change things in this country. And I'm very proud of the way we've run this campaign and the policies that we've put forward in this campaign. And we've got 9 days to go, and I'll be all over the country giving that message out.
I only ask you the question, of course, because rightly or wrongly, some people say that you haven't necessarily always gone out of your way to be a PM, but you're more of an activist. What do you say to them?
Is there a difference? I've been active in politics, human rights, and many things all my life. I've represented the same constituency since 1983, and I get an awful lot of comfort, support, advice, help and knowledge from the people that I represent. And I think if you're to lead, you have to be prepared to listen as well. And I enjoy that. And did I ever set out in life to become Prime Minister? No. I set out in life to try and change things and try and bring about greater justice in our society. And I was elected leader of our party, re-elected leader of our party. I'm honoured and proud to lead the party, and I'm giving it everything I can to win this election.
Well, we think that actually from a very young age, because you have brought some pictures along tonight.
Oh dear.
Which people won't have seen before.
Can you, I mean, I know this is sort of private discussion we're having here, just us three. Where did you get them?
Well,
We
you
have a
brought
source.
them with you. Now then.
It's a good
Natural-born
source.
leader. Look at this, Jeremy.
It's a good source.
Now this picture here,
Yeah.
look at you as a young boy, more than a touch of the dispatch box there, don't you think?
Yeah. The left arm is in a very strong position. It's obviously waiting to bring some notes out of a pocket. Wouldn't you say so?
Yeah,
That's
I
a
think so.
beautiful
I
picture.
think
But you
it's
notice the completely so uncorrect reins that are being held
Well, have
in
they
the pram.
Is it a harness? Yeah,
It's a
we
harness,
wondered.
yeah.
It is a harness.
Well, I was a bit sort of free-spirited, and I kept climbing out the pram and running off.
That doesn't surprise us whatsoever.
Something that
So
didn't
as I
change.
was sort of
It's nice to see you got
tied
free.
down.
It's nice to see you got
Yeah, I
free.
got free.
Does you've had obviously coverage, quite a lot of it, some of it positive, some of it negative. What's the effect on your family?
well, those nearest to me and those that loved ones everywhere have a totally unreasonable amount of pressure put upon them, and they always have done all of my life. And I have a great deal of sympathy for them and a great deal of thanks to give them all, everyone, because intrusion in my life is not nice, but I am there. I'm an elected politician. You kind of, it goes with the territory, you might say. But widest family, children, it's not right and not fair, and I wish some of our media would just draw some boundaries.
Yeah. Well, Thank you for showing us all these pictures, and we've got plenty more to go through for the duration of the programme. For better,
you've got
or for
ones I
worse,
don't know
Jeremy.
about as well.
We may have
to wait and see. I think
we may have. And we saw Reverend Ian then. Big change, a lifestyle change. What's the biggest thing that you've changed your mind over?
I think
then?
well done, Reverend Ian.
Yeah,
actually.
fantastic.
I support our local co-op credit union because it's a way of helping people get loans who wouldn't otherwise get them, and helping people to learn about how they've got to deal with finances and stuff and manage their lives. Well done him, and well done all those people that work in those credit unions. Biggest changes in my life, well, in the sense of attitudes, I think my basic attitudes and principles are pretty much as they've always been. I think what happens is that as a young person, you tend to adopt or develop political views and often become quite judgmental of others. And I think the more you go through life, the less judgmental you are. And I'm actually fascinated by meeting an enormous variety of people and learning something from them. Because everybody you meet has got a different experience in some way or other in life.
And something to offer, haven't they?
And know something you don't know.
Yep.
And I think you've always got to be prepared to listen to others. And that I find absolutely fascinating. And I store all this stuff away. As a child, I learned something from a very old man. I used to be a paper boy, Sunday paper boy, in rural Shropshire.
Around that age?
No, there was later. No.
I mean, you look like you got the measure of stuff. You look cheeky, Jeremy, if you don't mind me saying.
Yeah, I noticed the spots and all that. Yeah, I don't know what that thing is on my teeth. It doesn't look so nice. There you go. But I put it down to the camera.
Yeah,
the technology was very bad in those days.
Extra spots. But you grew up.
I was not delivering papers at that age. Okay. I really wasn't. I promise you. It was a bit older than that.
Rural Shropshire. You grew up. Mum and Dad. I
was born in the West Country, then we moved there.
The majority of your...
When my dad got a job at English Electric.
I also had a family of 6 growing up, so busy household.
Do you want to talk about this later?
Well, I mean, that's sort of why we're here, but if
We've got your mum and dad there.
There's a really lovely picture of you, the 6 of you, and a candlelit dinner.
Ah, yes.
Good memories?
Yes, that was my granddad, and it was for his 80th birthday, and he died a year later than that. And he was he was born in Lowestoft and then moved to Sunderland, then eventually to London, and he was a solicitor in Ealing, and he was known as the poor man's lawyer. I learned quite a bit from him.
And your parents then, they met at a rally, didn't they, in support of Spanish Republicans? You know, you must inherit a lot of your politics from them.
They were alarmed by the rise of fascism in Europe, and they were alarmed by what was going on in Spain. And they met at an event in Conway Hall in London in support of the elected Republican government in Spain, which was then under threat. It was eventually destroyed by the invasion of Franco forces supported by the Nazis, and they met there. And they had strong views, but they never pushed the views down our throats at all. No, not at all. They were very much liberal thinkers who believed people should think for themselves and discover themselves and a path for themselves. And so we were brought up to think for ourselves, read for ourselves, do for ourselves, and be ourselves. But I try to carry on in that tradition.
I was going to say, but did he read enough? Because you went to a private prep school and a grammar school, and it can't be true, Jeremy, but they tell me you left with 2 E's.
2 E's, Jeremy.
In A-level.
Is that right?
It can't be true.
Is it?
I've got the certificates out. I was a not academically successful student. And
but was that you kicking back against the system?
Well, my mum was an ever-generous lady, and I said, well, these are pretty poor, these results. And she sort of looked at me and said, they probably couldn't read your writing. Yes, of course. I was always interested in history and always interested in the great movements of history and history of different parts of the world. And I'm being generous to myself here. I probably wrote overlong answers to one question because I was quite interested in the subject and forgot the rest of it.
And the epic fail.
There you go.
And I was, well, is it such a failure?
We've all been there,
And then
Jeremy, writing answers way too long.
And then I would sort of read lots of things, and I loved the local library where I spent a lot of time.
You went to Jamaica, didn't you?
Yeah, where's the picture?
Age 18.
Oh, we've got it.
Any minute now.
Oh,
there we
yes.
are, just like
yes.
magic.
That's me.
Not many people know about this chapter in your life, age 18.
Now, see me there. See the camera?
Yes.
It was a brilliant camera. The only problem is it had a light leak in it. But you didn't know it had a light leak till you'd sent the film away to be processed and printed. And so you'd get like 24 or 36 pictures, each one with a gap like that on at the top. Made it look like a halo over every subject you photographed. But this picture was taken by somebody else. That's me in Jamaica at a place called Kingston College. I was a volunteer. It was called VSO, Voluntary Service Overseas, which is a good organisation. And I clearly wasn't going to get into university with 2 E's. Thank you very much.
Don't want to labour the point.
Thank you very much.
Oh, gosh. Oh, I didn't realise I even said that.
We'll say no more about that. And so I was looking around and then found something out about this organisation called VSO, found a leaflet about them somewhere. So I wrote to them and they sent me some stuff. And then I realised that you could apply as a school leaver to go abroad to volunteer. And I went for a very weird interview with a lot of people who said something like, how do you feel about chickens being slaughtered? I've no idea I was asked this question. I said, well, I'm not very keen on it because I'm a vegetarian, but if people want to eat meat, that's absolutely fine by me. It's up to them. And they said, that's OK, we'll give you the position.
Just like that?
There you go.
Well, they wrote me a letter afterwards, which was very kind of them. And
seems a lot of you writing a lot of long letters to each other at this point in your life.
Well, there was no emails in those days, and no mobile phones. Anyway, so I was asked if I would be prepared to go to Malawi, which I would. I was very happy to do farming and youth work. Coming from a rural area, that was sensible. That was a good idea. And I was youth, so therefore I could work with the youth. That'd be fine. Anyway, then they changed their minds and said, like, 2 days before I was supposed to go, sorry, we changed our minds, would you go to Jamaica instead? I said, well, fine, that's all right, you know. So I went about a week later, and I was given a series of tasks which were to help in the school, which was wonderful, to help with youth work and camping for Duke of Edinburgh's award, and also I volunteered to help in a polio support centre for children who had suffered polio, because polio was tragically quite a big issue in Jamaica, and I also volunteered to help in a theatre producing Jamaican plays. This was 6 years after independence.
Jeremy,
so it was fantastic.
Yeah, it's a big chapter. Lots of people don't know about
that picture of me is trying to supervise some sports activities in the school.
With your camera. Well, we've got lots more pictures coming your way very shortly. No, we haven't really. But we've got to move on. We've got to move on. That is stunning, isn't it? Box Tunnel. Absolutely lovely. But we know...
Absolutely beautiful.
It is lovely.
I grew up near there, you know. I was born near Box Tunnel.
Yes. See, we don't just throw it together, Jeremy. Cohesive, yeah?
So this isn't some kind of
There's not.
random good luck. This is actually thought out, is it?
But we know you love trains. We also know that you have a strong passion for decorative manhole and drain covers. Takes all sorts. So with that in mind...
Don't you?
Do you know what? After this next game, we do. We've got 3 manhole covers just for you, Jeremy. Each manhole cover is going to reveal a question. Pick your first manhole cover, if you would.
Do for number 1.
You're going for number 1. Of course, you know that's the Crapper. Yep. Thomas Crapper. Yep. That's the Thomas Crapper manhole, of course.
Yeah,
the question
don't labour
is,
the point.
I won't.
Yeah.
We're talking about labouring the point already.
After.
Here's your question, Jeremy. After we reveal the manhole cover. It's you in an Arsenal scarf. Not sure. Football runs through your family, though, doesn't it? And we know that you've been refereeing some under-10s recently. The question is, who's easier to keep control of, 10-year-olds or the Parliamentary Labour Party?
10-year-olds.
Not a hesitation there. OK, let's go. Do you want 2 or 3 next?
Let's go for 2.
All right. This manhole, beautiful manhole, all the way from Kyoto in Japan.
Isn't it lovely?
6,000 types of decorative manholes in Japan. Good for you to visit there on holiday. That's your allotment, we hear. Now,
that wasn't taken this year, by the way.
Wasn't it? Now, what is it about the allotment that you love? Why is it so important to you, Jeremy?
it's open space, it's a chance to grow things, a chance to reflect on things, and a chance to just unwind and be yourself and chat to all the other allotment holders, exchanging plants and all that. And there's something magic. When you grow your own beans, you grow your own potatoes, you grow your own corn, take it home and
we are thrilled
and you
with
grow
this
fruit
jam.
trees, and then you turn the fruit trees into jam. And I would like to present the one show with a jar of my jam.
Thank you very much. That's very kind of you.
Jeremy Corbyn, thank you very much for your time and your jam today.
Thank you very much.